Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Syracuse basketball pregame coverage is back right here on ESPN Syracuse and CuseSportsTalk.com. Giovanni Heater with you, taking you for the next 40 minutes right before we have Syracuse Crunch Hockey on the ESPN Syracuse airwaves. So typically we go the full hour, leading you right up till tip-off. Tonight we got you for the next 40 minutes as we get you set and ready for Syracuse and Mercyhurst inside the JMA Wireless Dome on a fine Wednesday evening here in the 315. Giovanni Heater with you. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us, whether you're driving up to the Dome, finally enjoying some clear roads with the warmer weather upon us and the snow not exactly falling the next couple of days here. So you got the clear roads as you head on up to the Dome, if that's what you're up to tonight. If you're hanging out at home, if you're watching on CuseSportsTalk.com, as always, we appreciate you being along for the ride. Mercyhurst in town. Syracuse looking to bounce back tonight. A very, very disappointing loss at the hands of Hofstra for Syracuse on Saturday. The Orange have to bounce back. Plain and simple. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Syracuse needs to bounce back, needs to come away with a win, needs to go undefeated the rest of the way in the non-conference portion of the schedule if it wants any chance, any remaining chance at making it to the NCAA tournament come March and come Selection Sunday. So the pressure's on. The pressure has certainly excelled now and accelerated after Syracuse lost to a Quad 3 opponent in Hofstra on Saturday afternoon in the Dome. Now, there's two sides to that coin, okay? Hofstra's probably a pretty solid team. I don't know that they'll get to Quad 2 status. Probably won't get to Quad 2 status. I don't think they're going to have the conference schedule to do it. But it's a solid team. Probably going to stay at a Quad 3. Could be an NCAA tournament team. They now own 2 power conference wins against ACC opponents in Pittsburgh and Syracuse. Really, really talented guard play. It's a solid team. That's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is Syracuse cannot lose home games to Hofstra if it wants to be back, if it wants to be Syracuse, if it wants to make a run at the NCAA tournament. Now, I think two things can be true at the same time, right? We use that phrasing a lot during football season when we talked about the quarterback position for Syracuse football, breaking down the play of Ricky Collins compared to the rest of the quarterbacks, right? And what Steve Angeli brought to the table and everything like that. I think two things can be true at the same time. Hofstra is better this year than typical, so it on paper is going to look worse that Syracuse lost to Hofstra at home, right? If you just look at the ESPN scoreboard, if you're a pretty casual Syracuse fan, it was a sleepy Saturday in college basketball. Didn't get a chance to watch the game because you thought, hey, they're going to beat up on Hofstra. We're going to do Christmas shopping instead. We're going to get that out of the way. And you looked at it and they lost the game. You look at that and panic, right? The sky is falling. Syracuse can't lose to Hofstra, right? And I think it can be true that Hofstra is better on paper, better this year than you would expect them to be. And this is a little bit of an outlier of a Hofstra team in their level of competitiveness in a game like this. The other side to that, with two things being true at the exact same time, Syracuse cannot lose to Hofstra at home if it wants to go to the NCAA tournament. If Syracuse is going to be back, if Syracuse is going to be a ranked team, with all that's been invested money-wise into this roster, with the caliber of athletes you have on this team. Now, you were without your former McDonald's All-American 5-star recruit in Donnie Freeman. You were without Donnie Freeman. But when you have preseason all-conference guards like J.J. Starling on the roster at the power conference level in the ACC. When you have Nathan George, who was one of the better point guards in the league a year ago at Georgia Tech, on your roster. When you have Sadiq White, a 5-star recruit. When you have Kyan Anthony, a 4-star recruit, whose name is hanging in the rafters because of Pops bringing home the Natty in 2003 and being one of the best freshmen to ever play college basketball. When you go up and down the list of the actual talent on this year's roster, there's just no world where Syracuse should be losing to Hofstra. And that can be true in the exact same breath that Hofstra is probably better than they typically are. But if you want to be back, if you want to be a top 25 team, shoot, if you want to make the field a 64 and get back to the bubble, they haven't even been on the bubble the last couple of years. If you want to get back to the bubble and at least sweat Selection Sunday instead of grocery shopping during the selection show, then you can't lose games to Hofstra. It just can't happen. So I think both are true at the same time. It certainly puts the pressure on for the rest of the season. I think Syracuse's chances of making the big dance have significantly plummeted due to the loss to Hofstra, and it reflects in their net rankings. This was a team that in the preseason was hanging around 74th or so in the net. Got a lot higher than that, got all the way up to the 40-ish range after you're really competitive against Houston, took them to overtime, and now Syracuse currently sits in the net rankings at 90th. Probably have to be a top 50 team in the net to make the field of 64 as an at-large and be an NCAA tournament team. And Syracuse really isn't anywhere close to that right now. And when you have a quad 3 loss on the resume in the non-con, and you've lost 4 non-conference games, now 3 of them are to very, very good teams, top 25 teams in Kansas, Houston, and Iowa State. But when you've lost 4 non-conference games and one of them's to a quad 3 opponent at home, it's going to tank you. It's going to tank you. You're going to go keep circling back to that Houston game and think what could have been, because the resume would look a lot different for Syracuse if they would have come away with a win against Houston. But the reality is it didn't happen. Syracuse still holds that nice win over Tennessee under its belt. Tennessee really did Syracuse a massive favor last night, beat the snot out of Louisville. They are now back to being a quad 1 team, so it's a quad 1 win for Syracuse. It's one of those rare scenarios where you're rooting for an ACC team to lose because you beat Tennessee. And it's unfortunate because it's like bad look for the conference, but go Tennessee, because now it helps Tennessee back to being a quad 1 team. So Tennessee takes care of business, throttles Louisville in the second half. Louisville was without its best player last night. We're seeing a lot of that across the country, Syracuse included, with no Donnie Freeman recently. But yeah, pressure's on for Syracuse big time. Have to win tonight. Have to win by a lot. We mentioned the metrics and how that factors into things, and how you can be rewarded for keeping it close with really good teams like Syracuse going to overtime with Houston, but you can be punished for bad teams, inferior teams, keeping it close with you. And this is one of those situations the rest of the way in the non-con, like we talked about. After that Tennessee game, the rest of the way, St. Joe's, Hofstra, now Mercyhurst, Northeastern, Stonehill, the rest of the way, it can only haunt you. It can only harm you. It can't help you very much. You have to win them, and you have to win them by as much as humanly possible. It can't help you very much, but it can hurt you. It can certainly hurt you. Hofstra did that. Syracuse trying to avoid any more of that. Any more non-conference losses, it's cooked. I don't think there's any shot the team makes the NCAA tournament if they lose another one. So their work is cut out for them. Plenty more to unpack as we continue to set the table for Syracuse and Mercyhurst inside the Dome on a Wednesday night. Giovanni Heater with you for the next 30 minutes. Again, we'll be off at 6:40 as the Syracuse Crunch will take the airwaves the rest of the way. And, of course, Syracuse and Mercyhurst go at it at 7 p.m. inside the JMA. You can listen to the game on TK99 with Matt Park and Coach Saddlin. On ESPN Syracuse right here, we will have the Syracuse Crunch for you. 315-437-7644 is the number to call. If you want to chime in, want to get on the pregame action, we'll have a postgame show right here as well on QSportsTalk.com. Probably not going to be on the radio airwaves because the Crunch will still be going on. If for some anomaly the Crunch game wraps up in speedy fashion, we'll hit the airwaves, but likely going to be exclusively on QSportsTalk.com. We will still take your calls after the game, as always. We're pressed up against a break. We'll take a break right here. Syracuse and Mercyhurst coming up top of the hour inside the Dome. We got your pregame coverage on QSportsTalk.com and ESPN Syracuse.
This is Orange Nation.
You can't say Syracuse is back after a Houston loss. Like, yeah, we're never going to lose two. We're gone again because Monmouth played.
What's up, chat?
Then Tennessee went, oh, we're back. It happens.
What's up, chat? Let's go. Good stuff, Jen. Good stuff. Glad to hear it. That's fantastic. Let's see. Let's see if we can get the latest scoop on Donnie. I continue to search for it, and I know just as much as you guys. All right. Donna DeTota says she posted a video of him dribbling, warming up. Says we're told he'll warm up, dress in uniform, but likely will not play. So he's out there warming up. He's going to dress tonight, likely will not play is what we're being told. Mike Waters also threw out an article about 40 minutes ago. Yeah, probably not going to play. But he's dressing in what? Yeah, said the same thing the tweet said in article form. Shout out Mike Waters. I love Mike Waters. He's a awesome guy. Awesome guy. All the people that say Donnie isn't going to play again this year, I don't buy into that at all. I don't think that's true. There's a lot of people that are saying that right now, that they think Donnie's not going to play again this year and basically sit it out, and I just don't think that's the case. I also don't think he'd be doing what he's doing right now if that was the case as well. No, I don't think Donnie's transferring. I think he's going to stay and play, and I think he'll be back within the next few games. That's just my take on it. I don't think Donnie's going anywhere.
Toyota pregame show.
Game day for Syracuse men's basketball, back in action inside the JMA Wireless Dome. Giovanni Heater with you, taking you up till 6:40 before we turn it over to the War Memorial with the Syracuse Crunch. 7 o'clock tip-off inside the Dome between Syracuse and Mercyhurst. Certainly a must-win for Syracuse here tonight. The pressure is on for Red Autry in year number 3 after an unfortunate Saturday home loss to a quad 3 opponent in Hofstra. And now Syracuse really cannot mess around here. Have to win out the rest of the non-conference. Probably have to do some serious damage in ACC play in order to get a chance at playing in the NCAA tournament, which really it feels like a tournament or bust type of a year for Syracuse basketball with the roster they've assembled, with how the last couple of seasons have gone. It's a 4-year drought. Syracuse has not played in the NCAA tournament in each of the last 4 years. Syracuse trying to change that this year, but unfortunately sitting at 6-4 so far on the season through the non-conference portion of the schedule. There's little room for error. There is very little room for error. Mercyhurst comes in tonight 4-7 on the year. And with that, it is time for our scouting report on Mercyhurst. Built by IKEA, everything you need from IKEA is now at Destiny USA. Go check it out and dream the possibilities at your new IKEA Syracuse. Mercyhurst, again, 4-7 on the year. They have won just 1 of their last 6 games. Not playing good basketball as of late. Winners in just 1 of its last 6. Wins over Loyola Chicago, Penn State, New Kenningston, Morgan State, and Bethany. Basically saying they haven't beaten anybody. Loyola Chicago this year is not the Loyola Chicago that made a run to the Final Four in 2000 and what was that? 17 maybe? 15 or 17? They're coming off the heels of an 80-47 loss to Davidson down at North Carolina. Just their second season at the Division I level for Mercyhurst. Obviously, they came up from the D2 ranks. Remember, this is like a conference rival of the Lemoyne Dolphins, especially on the lacrosse field. They played in a lot of conference championship games on the lacrosse field, certainly rivals on the basketball court as well. So Mercyhurst in its second year at the Division I level. Power conference losses so far this year to Northwestern and West Virginia. They rank 318th out of 365 at the net ranking, so they are a quad 4 opponent for Syracuse tonight. Ken Pom ranking sits at 331. The Bart Torvik ranking for Mercyhurst currently sits at 331. Syracuse remaining non-conference opponent net rankings. They play Mercyhurst tonight, 318. Northeastern will be 207. And Stonehill, 341. Mercyhurst is 2-2 against quad 4 opponents. They have not played a quad 3 game. They are 0-4 against quad 2 opponents. And Mercyhurst is 0-1 against quad 1 opponents so far this year. You look at the personnel for Mercyhurst and you look at what do they bring to the table against Syracuse here tonight. And honestly, it's not a ton that's going to challenge Syracuse, in my opinion. I don't see Mercyhurst having dudes that are going to challenge Syracuse. This isn't a situation where, that Hofstra guard really hooped against the Orange. And he hooped against Pittsburgh, had over 30 points against Pittsburgh. And then he did it against Syracuse, was the leading scorer out of anybody on the floor, lit it up, hitting the 3 ball, could get to the rim, very, very talented. I don't think Mercyhurst has a guy like that that's going to be able to compete with the Orange. I think all 5 players on the floor, at least 4 of the 5, probably all 5, Syracuse is going to have the advantage. Bernie Blunt III, look out for him, though. He's going to lead the way in scoring at 16.6 points per game in 29 minutes of contest, 2.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists. Shoots it very efficiently, 47% from the floor. How about 39% from beyond the arc? This is a score here in Bernie Blunt III. Curious to see how Syracuse will handle him defensively. Jake Lemmelman, 28.6 minutes a game. He's their second leading scorer, the only other Laker in double figures with 12.2 points per game, 3 assists a game, shoots it at 42% a clip, 40% from beyond the arc. He's their best free throw shooter at 92.9% from the line. They have a couple of other guys that are scoring towards the 10s. Mikolas Ivankis, he's going to average 9.5 points a game, 5.3 rebounds a game. He'll play the 4 for him. Be on the lookout for him. Kadir Martin averaging 7.7 points a game with 5.8 rebounds a contest, shooting it at 50% from the floor. Another 50% shooter in Deshaun Jackson Jr., averaging 6.5 points a game. But it's really the backcourt that is going to be the best chance to challenge Syracuse. Bernie Blunt III and Jake Lemelman. Those are the two guys I'm looking out for tonight for Mercyhurst. We're pressed up against the break. The Orange with a quad 4 opponent inside the dome. Got to win it against the Mercyhurst Lakers. We got you for another about 18 minutes right here on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Syracuse.
This is Orange.
Jen knows it. Lax school. It's a lax school. No, it's on the extra, Govendo. It's on the extra. Got to watch it on the app. Appreciate you, Wheeze, always. I'm okay with it, Govendo, only because if it was on the network, we'd be playing at 9 o'clock. Wow. No. Who is that, Paul? Isn't that like Jersey Shore? Is that a Jersey Shore thing? Great feeling tonight, Cuse Sports Knower? What's the reasoning?
Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
Should we just remove it? I'll just remove it.
It's
hard.
up to you. You could either tease it or remove it. Just do it cold. Whatever you're
I'll
more
tease it.
comfortable
I'll
with.
tease it.
Okay. Whatever you're more comfortable with. Yeah. We almost nailed it.
Yo, hear this ad. This is an ad that I voiced over, including craft beer, hard cider, canned cocktails, seltzers, and mocktails too. Purchase tickets at cnybrewfest.com and use the code HOLIDAY for $10 off. Exclusively online while supplies last. Need a ticket without committing to a session? Buy a golden ticket. Available only at Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus. cnybrewfest.com for more info. Nailed it. Nailed it. I'll be here, Bixby. I'll be here till the end of January, so plenty of time to hang. Plenty of time to hang. Thanks, Cuse Sports Noah. Appreciate you. Offense will click, defense will defend. William Kyle, I like it. William Kyle should have a night because I don't think anyone's going to be able to match up with him physically.
Syracuse Crunch Hockey is on the air.
Up, he's got a breakaway. The net takes, bobbles, he scores! Overtime winner for the Crunch. 23 seconds in.
With countdown to crunch time.
5, 4, we're on for main engine start. We have.
Here's your host, Lucas Favali.
I understand it puts you in a tough spot from a cap standpoint, but teams have found ways to be able to navigate around it. I think the Miami Dolphins, they're evaluating everything about their team, everything about.
And with that, we welcome you back to ESPN Syracuse and CuseSportsTalk.com. Syracuse Crunch Hockey coming up at 6:40 sharp right here on ESPN Syracuse. But we're getting you covered for Syracuse basketball until then. And it's time to bring you to Today in SU History, brought to you by Ferone & Son Funeral Homes. This day in SU Memories brought to you by none other than Ferone & Son. Celebrate your loved ones with the help from Ferone & Son Funeral Home, or plan ahead with your pre-arrangement today. Visit them at 1500 Park Street in Syracuse or at FeroneandSonInc.com. What happened today in Syracuse history? Well, it was a fun one. Jim Boeheim earned his 900th win as the head coach of the Syracuse Orange. This was, of course, before 100 were revoked. And then they had to do it all over again. No. First of all, you can't take away my coach's wins. Not going to happen, NCAA tournament. But this was before all that. Jim Boeheim earned his 900th on December 17th, 2012. Syracuse, then ranked number 3 in the country, had a thrilling win, as the headlines say. Thrilling win. I would say probably a scary win over a Detroit Mercy team. 72-68 was the final score. Number 3 Syracuse beats unranked Detroit Mercy in the Dome to roll on to 10-0. The Orange gave Jim Boeheim his 900th career victory. It looked like Syracuse went up by 22 with 9 minutes left in the game and let Detroit Mercy back into it. But what a team this was. This was the NCAA tournament team in 2013. I'm talking Michael Carter-Williams, all right, Jeremy Grant, James Sutherland, Brandon Trish, who was on Orange Nation earlier today, Trevor Cooney, his first of 2 Final Four appearances. This was awesome. The 900th win for Coach Boeheim. It joined him with Mike Krzyzewski and Bobby Knight as the only 3 members to have 900 wins at the Division I level. It's really unbelievable. Coach B is one of one, and I don't even know if we fully appreciate that enough, how one of one he is. That's elite company. Bobby Knight and Mike Krzyzewski. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. So that was today in Syracuse history. That's one of my favorites that we've had to this point. That's a very, very fun one. It's also time to bring you today's Krause Hospital injury report, brought to you by none other than Krause. Take me to Krause. All right. Situation for Syracuse, going to be without Donnie Freeman in all likelihood again tonight. The recent reporting about 40 minutes ago from Donna DeTota of Syracuse.com and Mike Waters of Syracuse.com as well. Stephen Fonte's got it out there. Everybody's got it out there now that Donnie is warming up. Video footage on Twitter of him warming up tonight. He's going through full warm-ups. He's going to be dressed tonight, so he'll be in uniform tonight, but he is likely not to play. It is, quote-unquote, unlikely for him to play tonight for Syracuse in a must-win game against Mercyhurst. Now, I don't think they need him to win the game. They should win this game by 30 points without Donnie Freeman. I think this does go to show that we are inching closer to Donnie Freeman's return. Okay, we're going quite literally step by step to getting him back on the floor. My guess after seeing this, he might play the next game, which would be on Saturday. And if he doesn't play on Saturday, he'll play on Monday, is my guess. I've said all along, I'd like to have him back by the 20th against Northeastern. That way you get him for Northeastern, and then you get him again for Stonehill. And that way you're not throwing him back into the fire in the ACC opener on New Year's Eve against Clemson in the Dome, a quad one currently a quad 2 opportunity. Hopefully it turns back into a quad 1 opportunity as Clemson is 31st in the net. They need to be top 30 in order for that to be a quad 1 game that day. It doesn't really matter as the season continues to fluctuate. I think it has a chance to remain a quad 1 game for Syracuse, or get back to being a quad 1 game, I should say. Regardless, you'd like to not see Donnie return in that game just because you'd love to have that runway to catch the footing again, get the chemistry back to where it needs to be, see how he assimilates back into the rotation and everyone gets comfortable again against Northeastern and Stonehill. At least Stonehill, I'd hope, before you throw him back into the fire against the Clemson Tigers on December 31st. So, hoping that Donnie Freeman plays on Saturday. It's unlikely that he's going to play tonight. That is your Krause Hospital injury report. Take me to Krause. It's also time for our Keys to the Game, brought to you by Drivers Village. Check it out at dvtrucks.com. As always, Keys to the Game, powered by Drivers Village. For the keys to your game, shop at dvtrucks.com. I think the biggest key to the game tonight is you can't sleep on this one if you're Syracuse. Just have to come out relentless, as Coach Autry calls it, level 5 effort as soon as that ball is tipped off. Like this team, I'd really like to see them play ticked off, like upset that they lost to Hofstra and that now the pressure's on and their backs are against the wall a little bit. Come out with a relentless edge if you're Syracuse tonight. I think they'll do it, but I think it's going to be a huge key to the game because remember, this shouldn't be a 10-point win. This shouldn't be a 5-point win. This shouldn't be a close game at any point. This should be a blowout. Syracuse should win this game by 30+ in order to feel good about it, in order to feel comfortable about it. So I think that's a big key to the game. A way that they can do that, feed William Kyle. He's been the best player on this team this year. Thought it would be Donnie Freeman, but it feels like it's been ages since we've seen Donnie Freeman be on the court. He's missed now the last 6 games for Syracuse. Didn't play against Houston, didn't play against Kansas, didn't play against Iowa State. Missed the win against Tennessee, missed the win against St. Joe's, missed the loss against Hofstra. He hasn't played in 6 games. Tonight will likely be his 7th consecutive game out for Syracuse. So you need Donnie Freeman back, of course, but I think William Kyle has been their best player so far this year. Feed William Kyle. Let him eat. Let him enforce his will. Let him show his freak athleticism. Let him rebound. Feed William Kyle. Because I think that's going to be the best separator for Syracuse. Points in the paint. And then I think another key to the game would be having that tough physical brand of defense that they've done a nice job of showing this year. Enforce your will on defense. Press up as the guards when you're playing a man defense. Press up on Mercyhurst. Make everything difficult. Don't give an inch. Don't let them have any confidence, if you will, because I think that's what happened against Hofstra. Hofstra came in, saw some shots fall, had a lot of confidence, knew they could do it because they had already beaten Pittsburgh. And I think when Syracuse has gotten behind, it's when they're not playing at their level 5 defensively. Against Houston, unbelievable defensive effort. Against Tennessee, unbelievable defensive effort. And I know it's hard to get up for playing a team like Mercyhurst, but when you just lost one of these quad 3, quad 4 games, you got to do it. So I'd like to see that relentless edge on defense out of Syracuse. 2 more keys to the game, and I've been saying them really all season. Got to see the free throws fall. You're looking at tonight, quite literally, I kid you not, this is the truth, the 2 worst statistical free throw shooting teams in the entire country. Mercyhurst is 356th, I believe it is, 355th. And Syracuse is 356th. These are the 2 bottom of the barrel worst free throw shooting teams in Division I men's basketball so far this year. That's unbelievable. The statistical odds of that happening and they're matching up, playing each other tonight is crazy. Both of these teams are barely shooting over 50% from the free throw line. I don't know how much better it can get for Syracuse. It's going to cost them. It's going to plague them all year. Part of the reason they lost to Hofstra. Huge part of the reason they lost to Houston. Missed 17 free throws in that game. Big part of the reason they lost to Kansas. And it also is the reason that some games are closer than they should have been. St. Joe's, Tennessee even. It's not a good free throw shooting team. I don't know how much better it can get, but I'll probably make it a key to the game. Every single game, the rest of the year, you have to shoot free throws. Shoot, if you're averaging 56%, if you can get a 70% night as a team, the seas have parted and the sky is opening, right? That's what you're looking for if you're Syracuse. Maybe you have to save nights like that, though. Hopefully you don't need a night like that to win a game quite like this. Last key to the game, let's get some three balls flying. I've been saying that a lot, too. Looking at J.J. Starling, although I don't care how he scores, I just want to see him score. Hasn't done a lot of it. For whatever reason, when he was doing it last couple of games, Red takes him out. I don't know why that happens. But I'd like to see the three balls start to fly a little bit more and a little bit more from everybody, right? Not just Nate Kings, who has been doing a nice job as of late. Not just Tyler Betsy, who has been doing a nice job as of late, but everybody. So those are your keys to the game, brought to you by none other than Drivers Village. Time for our Upstate Imports starting lineups. And again, Syracuse and Mercyhurst going at it in the Dome. Syracuse starting lineup looks exactly the same as it has all the way along here. Syracuse going to roll out there. Again, no Donnie Freeman in all likelihood tonight. So don't expect Donnie after, even though he did warm up. Gonna be Nate Kings playing at the 3, J.J. Starling at the 2, Nathan George at the 1, Sadiq White will get the start at the 4 in place of Donnie Freeman, and then William Kyle will start at the 5. That is your Upstate Imports starting lineup for Syracuse. Also time for Bringing the Meat, brought to you by Hoffman Sausage Company. And they've called Syracuse home since 1879. They have more than just hot dogs, though, like German Franks and Snappy Grillers. They have amazing sausages to take us through the cold months, jalapeno cheddar, Italian, beer bratwurst, and more. Who's bringing the meat tonight? I'm looking at William Kyle. I think he's going to have a big game. I think this is the type of the game that William Kyle's going to be able to absolutely feast. Give me a 16-point double-double out of William Kyle tonight. 16 points, we'll call it 11 rebounds for William Kyle. I'm feeling a double-double for him tonight in the painted area. So William Kyle's going to be bringing the meat if I had to pick somebody to do so. Must-win game for Syracuse. Final predictions time here on ESPN Syracuse and CuseSportsTalk.com. I think Syracuse wins the game. I think they do it comfortably. I think this is finally where you see them enforce their will. I just really think Mercyhurst is that poor of a team. I think, though it's not the 40-point win or the 30-point win you're hoping for, I think Syracuse wins it by like 18. So give me Syracuse to win this thing. We'll call it 74 for Syracuse. Yeah, we'll say Syracuse scores 74 points, 74-56. We'll call it a 74-56 win for the Orange over Mercyhurst in the Dome. You'd feel good about that. You'd feel like that's a good defensive showing as well. And hopefully they get Donnie Freeman coming back in no time. That'll do it tonight for our pregame coverage. Join us postgame right here on CuseSportsTalk.com exclusively. We'll take a break. When we come back, we got Syracuse Crunch Hockey right here on ESPN Syracuse.